Hi guys, Raven Song here. I've got my hands here because I'm kind of giving, hopefully I will be in shot. It is so hard to see what I'm doing here, the way my setup is. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a techie. And don't necessarily want to be a techie. Those shooting videos, you kind of have to be a techie. Anyways, I just wanted to come on today because I did something that I haven't done in quite a few, well, probably 3 or 4 years now, last night, and it was so much fun. I really enjoyed myself. I've kind of taken a break from readings for the last year pretty much. Since the diagnosis, I just haven't had the energy to do it. But I have one gal that is a regular, and she used to do a witches ball Halloween party every year, and I'd go out and do readings at it, and haven't done it in, like I said, it's been at least 3 or 4 years. And they come to me, everything going on. She just didn't do it. Boy, I haven't worn this hat in forever either, and I took it out, and it is so dusty. I'm going to have to take some air to it and a brush and try to get the dust out of it. It's been sitting in the corner of my crafting room for quite some time now. Anyways, like I said, I'm trying to keep this marked where to set my cards here when I go to look at these. But I thought I'd go over what I did last night, or at least show you the decks that I used. Because it was really interesting to see how people chose their decks and how the energy flowed with them. One lesson learned: do not drink when you're slinging cards. There was the first batch of margaritas was fine. I had one, and it didn't bother me, just heated me up a little bit. And then the second batch, whoo, that one was quite potent. There were a couple times where you lose focus. You can actually lose focus on those cards, and you don't even know what you're looking at. So I had to take a couple deep breaths and kind of rehone myself in. Luckily, I was able to recapture those threads of the reading and continue on. It was pretty funny. Anyways, so let's start with this one. This is the Crow Tarot, and this is the indie version. This one was a fun deck to work with. A lot of people use this. One of the interesting things was that 4 of the 5 decks were used. The 5th one was not touched by anybody. It was interesting, and yet I thought it would be a hoot. But yeah, nobody wanted to mess with that one for some reason. I don't know. Maybe everybody was in a little bit more serious mood and wanted to get true readings, or, well, they'd be true readings too. They're just a little bit more humorous. Anyways, so this is the Crow Tarot. This is the indie version. Absolutely love this deck. This is, let me see, make sure I'm in shot here. I can't seem to zoom out on my camera right now the way it's set up. The fingers just don't work right for it. Anyways, but this is the Crow Tarot, and it is just beautiful. This one was probably the most popular deck last night, so it is going to have a thorough cleansing. It actually reached a point where I almost felt like it was saturated, absolutely saturated with people's energy, and it wasn't giving a lot of aha information or juicy information to the querents. So I kind of pulled that at the end. It was like, you know what? I think it's oversaturated with what's been going on in this whole evening. Yeah, this is my witch's here. Hold on. Sorry about that. I got interrupted. Sun's gotten brighter, so hopefully everything's going to be okay here. I don't know. It's kind of frustrating. We're going to continue on and see what happens here. So, probably the next most popular deck last night was the Santa Muerto Tarot, which this one I had to add back into my collection. I had the deluxe coffin-shaped box one, and I let it go when I was purging. And yeah, so I had to buy it back in order to, because I've always had a really nice connection with this deck, and it was just one of those moments where, like I said, I'm trying to, it's hard for me to see. If I'm in shot here or not. I'm hoping I am. I think I am. Anyways, yeah, I love this deck. It's been a great deck to work with. And, you just do things in the weirdest moments, and I really didn't think I needed it. And then later on it kind of came back and said, let's go ahead and add this back into the collection. Kind of took away being that it's a standard deck, the whole collector thing, and it relieves a lot of pressure off my mind that when I'm gone, it won't be a big deal when, family starts to get rid of stuff. Yeah, no worries on that. Anyways, yeah, so this is a wonderful deck. I like it because it's, it's Waite Smith for the most part, but the imagery kind of makes you look at things a little bit differently. Particularly, the one that kept coming up last night was the Three of Cups. And normally Three of Cups is this, you know what, this is Five of Cups. That's why. Couldn't read in the dark, I guess. Okay. It's definitely a melancholy feel to it. And more of a trying to stay balanced and that type of thing. So it's kind of interesting how that one kept coming up. I guess it was what it was meant to be. Even though I misread the number, I still got the feel of the card and got those messages across with that whole melancholy, being in a maze type situation. It's interesting how that comes forward. That's where reading, not just relying on Waite Smith rules and interpretations, looking at the images really makes a difference on how you read a deck. So, anyways, my bad, but then again, it worked out. But that was probably the next most popular deck last night. And then probably the third most popular, I don't know, it's kind of a toss-up between these three decks. The Santa Muerto, this one, which is the Vampires Tarot. People are always looking for romance and love and things like that. I think last night a lot of emotional stuff came out more than anything else. And not so much romance and love. Hey, what are you doing, Dolly? Don't be wandering around. Anyways, so this is always a popular deck on Halloween. Even year-round sometimes I get a few people that in relationships and something extreme has happened, they tend to lean towards this deck because it is very visceral, very emotional, very passionate. And I don't mean sexually, but just passionate in its emotions. So it's a beautiful deck, and it's always a go-to. The book to this is absolutely phenomenal. It really makes you look at the meanings in a different way. But that's a wonderful, wonderful deck. And then the one that really surprised me, well, one of them that really surprised me is this one here. And this is the one I just got in. And I had said on my last video, or the video before that, that it I needed to interview it to see if it wanted to come to the party. And it absolutely was screaming to go to the party. I mean, I can't even remember the cards I drew, but it was like, oh, absolutely. So I did bring it, and it did very, very well. It's a little bit more challenging to read for other people with it, but she had a good time. She had a good run, and this is the Lacrimosa Tarot. And I told people that it leans towards the darker side of things, but makes you look at the darker aspects of yourself. But it was phenomenal. It really did some great readings. I almost felt like the people that picked this deck got more out of their readings than the others. Who's to say, though, because I don't know what's necessarily going on in the querents' heads. So I kind of have to just kind of say, this is what it says. And then I just ask them, does this make sense? And yeah, this one really came back with a lot of great positive feedback. Absolutely beautiful deck. And she is a good player. She is a good player with people. It's really easy for this deck for you to fall into just doing reading the titles and then falling into the typical standard meanings of the decks. So you really have to, again, look at the imagery, kind of like the Santa Muerte. Santa Muerte is probably a good in-between between a standard and a little deeper read like this. Santa Muerte is kind of that middle line because it does get a lot of deep stuff into it. But this one definitely dives way deeper into the psyche. Absolutely love that deck. And she played very well. So this is the last deck that I brought, and nobody touched it. Not one person picked this deck up. I was really surprised. I thought it was going to be, I built it as kind of a humorous deck, but I thought for sure somebody would want to read and want to have a good chuckle along with it. And it is the Zombies Tarot. This is the 1950s style zombie genre, and they're humorous, really. They're really funny to look at the imagery on them, and it's a beautiful, beautiful deck, but not one person wanted to pick it up. I wouldn't say beautiful, it's a funny deck. And maybe in that situation, because it was so dark, and like I said, I think some of the people were taking this way more seriously than they needed to. They probably wouldn't even look at the images. That is hysterical. Cups. That is absolutely hysterical. Eating brains on the beach. I love this deck. It is so funny. You just can't help but laugh when you look at the imagery on this. This is definitely, it probably would have done better in a daylight situation, and maybe it knew that. That the situation just wasn't built for enjoying it to its fullest ability, or fullest potential, put it that way. It's just too funny. I love this deck. This is one that somebody gifted me on World Tarot Day. They sent this one to me. It's another one that I had let go because I hadn't used it, and then I decided it needed to come back into my life, along with Tarot of Housewives and that one is coming back in very, very soon. What is this? Oh, that's the band that goes with it. Yeah, I just shoved all this in here before I left. But yeah, the Zombies Tarot. The booklet's kind of cute. It's a wonderful deck. Like I said, I was hoping that somebody would, but maybe it does need more daylight so that you can really appreciate the imagery on it, because it is a bit detailed, and like I said, to see the humor in it, you have to be able to see those details. Anyways, so those are the 5 decks I took with me last night, and I really, really, really enjoyed getting out and doing things again, and playing and flexing those intuitive muscles again. It's been a long time, and it was a great way to step in. I don't know how many readings I did last night, probably at least 20. I probably read from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock, 11:30 straight. Potty breaks, but otherwise pretty much straight through. But it's fun to socialize with the girls and just have a good old time again, and it was fun. Haven't dressed up in a long time. I haven't put on makeup in a long time, and I went full blown on the makeup. Well, as full blown as I will go. I'm pretty conservative, but man, haven't put on eyeliner in frickin' forever, and yeah, that was interesting. I didn't have to wipe it off and redo it at all. But yeah, I was surprised how steady my hand was, because it hasn't been very steady for a while, and I was able to get that eyeliner on. Surprisingly enough, making it stick is a whole nother matter. I think I finally figured out the combination. Like I said, it's been so long since I put on makeup, but I didn't think it was too smudgy when I left last night around midnight. It took me about a half an hour to get home, and yeah, it was fun. I really, really, really enjoyed it, and I'm hoping to do more readings again. Maybe even get into it more. I don't know. I got to think about how I'm going to promote myself on that. Do more readings, since the nail industry is, for me, moving it home. My business home has become very quiet. It hasn't been as prolific as it had been, and that's to be expected. Under my situation, I don't want to overdo it anyways. Keeping it on a low mode is good, is very good. But I wouldn't mind doing more readings. Trying to figure out how I'm going to work it into my situation. But we'll get there. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope this interested you. It's just a simple, what I did last night video. Anyways, we'll see you on the tube, and have a lovely, blessed Samhain season. Bye-bye.